Right, welcome back to Nightingale's Motorcycle Restorers Metal Finishers. It's usually our TL250 night tonight, but we aren't. We're swapping over. Reason is I haven't got anything on RTLs really to talk about. We're pending the restoration one to look at some parts and see where we're going from there on with chassis parts and everything else. So that had just been a bit boring. So I thought what I'd do is I'd go on to some TLR bits again, and also some tricky bits as well. And when I say tricky bits, we also, if you're new to the channel, you probably don't know, we do powder coating, ceramic coating. That's specialist ceramic coating. We also do polishing, professional polishing, 3-phase, 6,000 watt ultrasonic cleaning, soda blasting, walnut fine oxide blasting, vapor blasting, and a few other things. TLR200 engine builds. So what we're going to do is just going to show you a few things which are again in the workshop. Obviously I can't show you everything every week because I can't do it for the customers, but what I can do is show you something a little bit different. And if you're thinking of doing one of your hobbies or doing anything and doing a bit different colouring, I've shown you on the exhaust when you polish them, we can do a media blast across it and give this etching effect. Which if you haven't seen it, we'll show a close-up photograph again where we actually etch it on with a stencil so you can see it. And that's one thing. What I'm going to do today is I'm just going to look at a couple of things. Over the times of talking about powder chroming, and I'll say it again, I'll be saying it in a minute if I just show you what I'm going to do. I've done a gas frame, gas trials bike. I've coated it in powder coating in chrome effect because that's part of the system. I've then rubbed it down very lightly, 2000. I've then put the blow lamp over it again, not back in the oven, blow lamp. Got it hung up on the racks and then candy coating it, powder, onto chrome powder. So the idea is, though this is meant to be a ready candy effect, in the workshop, and you might not see it, is the idea it comes through it. So when you do a motorcycle wheel, say a road bike, you do it in a chrome base or an eye silver, but the chrome's better because the more you get it in sunlight, the metallics come out. So I'll show you a picture now of the gas frame I chromed in powder. Right, so that ain't looking its best now because I've rubbed it down, but you can see the finish on it. Now, over 6 years of messing with this powder chrome, different companies abroad as well, some sent to me. I think the last batch has been fantastic, but there's a bit of trickery involved. It's only after all the times of mistakes that you actually find out what's going on. So I'll show you a picture now in the powder top coat, which I put on, which is nothing like the end result, which really catches you out now. So I'll show you that picture now. Okay, so it looks like an ordinary gas red, that. So then we've put it in the oven, we've stored it off, and we've taken it back out, and we'll go over to the frame now to show you that. Now again, I'm showing you this because you might be building, when we come to these again in a minute, some more frames in to modify for TLR200s. You might just be thinking something a bit different, or else can we do? And once I've shown you this frame, and a quick video of it I'll do as well, so you can see it a bit slower, I'll go on to the wheels, what I'm going to do with the wheels when we've blasted them down on a gas, but it could be on a TLR or any trail, road, motocross bike. So let's go and have a quick look at this frame. So okay, let's have a look at this. So completely different colour to how it come out now. First off, it looks a deep, very deep, which it is. But if you might not be able to see it on the camera, but you can see the chrome coming through the candy. Now, obviously, it's better in direct sunlight. It may have no effect in here. I don't know because I haven't had a look. But if you look down where I've coated it, done everything. So what you've really done, in effect, you've powder coated a frame twice. So like when you say I zinc a frame, we zinc an ordinary frame. So like one of these frames, I'll zinc it, then top coat it. So really what we've done with this is we've put the base coat on in chrome, powder effect, and then clear coat candy red on top of it. So as I say, it's so much better outside, but I'm just trying to give you some things, some ideas, if you're thinking of ideas, what we can get up to in here when you're building specials, because that's what we're all about, you know, building nice machines, preferably TLR200s, in between restoration, which we do, the amount of stuff. So I'll go on to wheels next. So if you're getting some ideas on your wheels, so we've got, instead of, you might not just want to buy, there's two options here. These may be stripped down again, these on the RC1. They're a wheel which I put in the tank, blasted it, degreased them, blasted them, took them back, adjusted the spokes up so they're right, and I sprayed them in ceramic coating, hub, spokes and rim. It's a cheaper way of doing it if you're trying to put some life in your bike. Also, you can still adjust your spokes. It's not like you've coated them in anything. So this is another way. So you may strip your rims down, and they could be anodized, so we can take the anodizing straight off. And then what we're going to do with these is, he wants them in a really high gloss. So ceramic coatings, obviously you don't have the undercoats, so you'll never get an ultra bling gloss. So I'm happy to take these down with ultra fine walnut, so all the identification's still there. Have a look at them, but because we're actually powder coating them, he wants them in gloss black. Now I'm hopefully doing it, I know we're on Monday night, and the idea is it's usually Wednesday or Thursday night for today. I'm going to try and get these done for one more video this week if possible. So that'll be the front rim and the rear rim. So again, get rid of all this, clean them up inside, and he's going for black gloss. Now, if you were on your trials bike, a motocross bike, anything on spokes, remember, you could have a Repsol orange in ceramic. You just got to remember that the colours in ceramic coating aren't as blingy, but a ceramic coating is a very hard wearing coating. So what I'll do is I'll just show you a wheel now I did not so long ago in Repsol orange ceramic coat and let you see that. Right, so it's just to give you ideas. So once I've got these etched back, acetoned out, gassed out, powder coated, nice gloss bling, we're going to go back to the hubs. Now, what it wants to do with this, again, gas hubs, so we degrease them, very gently, ultra fine blasting, because like anything you do in media, you don't want to put any media blasting into these spoke holes. They are like a crater, they have got an edge. They don't get spoke pull like a traditional hub, like on a TLR, when you see spoke pull, when they've come loose or they've pulled. But what they can get, you don't want any media causing any problems. So ultra fine blasting. So when I do these, I'll show you me blasting them. Maybe just drop downs because you'll have seen my pictures. Degreased them, blank the bearing covers off, and any disc. Same again to the rear, any disc holes or anything. And now we'll be cerakoting these. Now the idea, what he wants with these is, he wants a ready type of candy sparkle. but he doesn't want them powder coating. Well, he never said that, but the thing is, I'd have advised him against it anyway, because when you think, as I always go on about powder coating, it's like getting in the bath with your wellies on. But applying it right, so you get it smoothed out, no orange peel and best stability. But we don't want all these minor holes filling up and clouding over, and certainly, of course, with mask all disc faces off. So by ceramic coating, it'll be a factory finish. So what I'd usually do with that, with ceramic, I'd blast it ultra fine, gas it out, acetone it, and then I'd paint it with a ceramic coating, 120 colours, different series, right the way up to, as I showed you, it wasn't done the other day, but this big manifold there to the left, if you look at that, that is a beast. Now I've done that in 1000 centigrade. It's a very high rated temperature as that, but these, it's going to be done on a 3-stage ceramic coat. So what I'm going to do first is blast it, Cerakote it with black, and a black base coat. Then I'm going to put a mixture into it with a sparkle in it, and then I'm going to do wet on wet clear coat lacquer to bring the sparkle out, but I've got to have the base coat as black. So it's a bit of trickery is this when you're playing about with stuff like this, but they can look mint. So the idea is powder coating that rim in gloss, putting a bit different in a sparkle coat, and then some new stainless steel spokes in it, build the wheels back up, and they'll look quite good. Well, that again, it's just a little bit, if you're new to the channel or you've just got bored with ideas, you can start looking with these little videos, can start showing you things that are simple, effective, and also quite cost effective. They're not that bad. You know, you might think 3 paints, but it isn't that bad because you're only using a small percentage for rubs. The orange rims aren't that bad. But I did a test a few weeks ago. The worst question I get is with ceramic coating. Usually I just keep quiet on it. It's the people who know about it, like when I do pistons, camshaft, your race pistons, valve coatings, like I do on my cylinder heads for TLR200s. Heat transfer coating to disperse heat from the camshaft, or oil coolers, the specialist coatings that work. The biggest thing is, does it come off? Well, if you had the answer to that, we'd all be millionaires. Every new bike, does it fade? Does it do this? No, but what it does do, it looks factory. It's very hard wearing, and a couple of weeks ago I did a test. I also did a test to another company last year on robotic hands, because if you imagine anyone getting false limbs or anything, they may be back on the tools, or they may be just generally, you know, even walking, really roughing these false hands. So every knuckle I coated in a ceramic coating. I then took every knuckle and I put it in brake fluid. I put it in battery acid. I put it in neat thinners, just to give ideas how robust this product is. Hence the Repsol wheels last week, I did in battery acid, neat, 100% or 99% acetone and paint thinners. Bloody hell, let's face it. So even on these or your motocross bikes, you know, you can get ideas. If I change these wheels on this one, I might put it to a blue or a red rim, new stainless steel spokes, but I might do a grey transfer, like an heat transfer in there. Very stealthy, factory looking. Just something a bit different. I think that's what I'm trying to get over in this video. You know, I can't tell you how many frames I've done in red and white, and a few blue ones, but you can alter it a bit. As I say, if you get onto me and give me some ideas, I'll tell you what I recommend. But usually for frames of this era and condition, and when we've gone into them and done repairs, I'd advise that if we do the frame mods and the headstock mods, then we belt sand them down, blast them, I would say good zinc primer to coat the frame again, like we always do, zinc powder. We just have another look at it, rub it down maybe a bit, have a look at it, and then gloss it with red, white, or what you want. Or as I say, you could have something a bit completely different, you know. So I'm going on to frames now, because I'm still trying to show frames and mods and a couple more in and what we're up to. So another frame in, another one in the reception, TLR200. This is what the customer wants. It's not such a bad thing. He doesn't want the frame stock mod, but it's his preference. Again, it's only when we get to the point, the purists, I think, as we child section round the back and you try stuff. Do I notice it? Maybe not on the headstock, but yeah, you can do a few bits just to compensate for a bit there. But once they've got the modified footrest and the beater hangers on, and we've interplated it all to double strength it, because as I said as before, there were trail bikes, we're never meant to do what we're making them done now. So this frame will get degreased, taken back, kick the old cups out, the bearing cups, because obviously we'll go on to tapered bearing, and then we'll knock a few bits off it. Sometimes we just ask the customer what tank and seat unit and what bits he's got, just so we know, mark it off. But the usual bits we take off, cut into the frame, do the modifications, belt sand them out. Once they're done, get it zinced up, and then I think this one's going to be pure white. And I'll show you this as we go through, so I'll keep dropping them in, all these different things, and go from there. A bit funny this one, it's true is this as well. The guy come in and his name's Mr. Benny Phil. I thought he said Benny Hill. It's actually Benny Phil. So nice name. So yeah, so that's the TLR200 framing. As I say, another one in the reception. They're both about the same condition. If you notice sometimes, and I'll tell you this later on, if you look here on the frame, on top there's some numbers. And it tells a little bit about things as well. It was also another stamp in the event anything got stolen. You don't think they had records at the time, but they did. So little identification numbers on, and the purist, if the one's been stolen and they knew a bit about it, would probably be able to look back at that. If you've had it stripped down, it's always handy to take that number there, because with this one, it's going to register this frame and bike. It's going to make a competition trials bike. So we've got a nice frame number on here, which I've masked off already. Once we take the cups out, we're masking the inner race, so they're having tapered in. And when we mask that frame number off, we're still going to locate it, because you've got to remember, a registered trials bike can be worth 500 quid more. Because if you come off your roads and go over onto a main road, someone may ask, they aren't going to be riding it on a daily basis, because you've turned it from, on this occasion, because this is a trials bike, from a trail bike. But no matter what frames we take in, we cover the identification number up, so when we peel it back, what you'll see is a zinc coating underneath from the powder, and the rest of your frame will be in a colour. So the last thing we'll get onto, so bits for the RC1 as I'm buying in again and putting onto it. The idea is that what I want to do is I want to get the logos right this time on it. Just had some carbon fibre done with the RC1 on, which looks quite nice. It's a bit like the etching, and then this side's all going to be done. And again, as we come down here, it'll be onto there. So forks are out, because we put the forks out of that machine into here, because we're on billeted yokes. And when we come round here and have a look at this again, the billet yokes are in now, which are going into this machine. So if there's anyone wanting a set of standard on the triple clamps, there'll be some of them. So we'll polish these up. The cups are coming for the tops of here, and then this will be all taken off and a different logo in. The idea in putting the front end into this frame after we've done the work on it, we did this about 5 years ago when we was working on frames, and then we subbed it out. Now we're back in house with it, is we can get the angle, everything, and then we build the frame jig up at the back. So when we're making them, when we put all this frame jig and attach it, it brings us our drop for the footrests. And when you fit the beta hangers, the other thing I'll be doing with it, the idea of me doing the powder coating at the same time as the frame mods, you may want a set of bearings. We stock them, but if you don't, we have got them, and we keep all the engine spares. Remember, the idea of doing this, when we fit the hanger on, I'll come round here. You see here, look now, I'll just take this off. When we fit the hanger, we're straight in. And remembering, of course, that these are 12 mil, and on this particular hanger, and we're straight on. But again, straight on, and when it's powdered in and flared out, it looks cosmetically pleasing. And it's up to you. You might send me in the cone, you know, the engine mount for a different colour. You might send the sump guard in for polishing or painting. That one over there was painted 3 years ago, and that's powder coated. You know, you may just want a bit different kind of bling. Again, showing you close up onto the RC1 when you look at things when we do them, how it blends in. We strengthen the backs, and again, we're on. The good thing about it is when we do them, we'll also be fitting a set just to try it as a trial set, because what you got to remember, there's a few things about powder coating and finishing them off we're allowing for when you're at home. If you're buying your hangers in, that you just slide these on. So we'll pre-do it so they slide on. What you don't want is lathering a powder coating. The idea is to get a lovely finish on it, almost like it's been sprayed, and then you just get them at home and slip your hanger straight on, put footrests of your choice onto it. So I think that's about it. We've kind of done this one just to fill in a little bit, keeping you updated as I do these specials. Again, if you look across at that frame, it does look really nice. It looks more like a purple there, but till in this light, and I took it outside, and then photographs will show you what it was like outside, and you might just get the feel of it, but unless you're here, you don't. So again, based in Scarborough, North Yorkshire, 01723 370 399. Any questions, or best to get me after 3 or 4 o'clock. Engine building, after next week, again, we've got a good gap with engines, but it's not just engine, it's the engine coatings we do while they're down, ceramic coating to the centres, the colours at the outside, or polishing. Our heads we fit, and then trick bits. As you know, we're still testing the our ignitions, all been done before, built in-house completely here by myself, and our heads all glammed up with the bigger valves, bigger cam, double bearings, a little bit of looking at the ports. I am going to do a small video at some point on wet porting. It confuses a lot of people, but it's just a newer way of doing things, because no matter you look at, even on the 80s machines, and I keep on going on about it, my CBX hopefully will be back soon, so I'll be able to show you a bit on that. All different things, you know, different heads, different how they were just manufactured. So all it is all the time is just making small little improvements to every bit of it. This bike now will be pulled down, well, it's nearly pulled down. We'll be putting tyres on it again, because these were just dummy tyres, because we built it, if you're new to the channel, for a customer. We built it in-house, he put it in his man cave, and then that's how he wanted it. We're taking it up the next stage now with a lot of Velocity Pro parts on our ignition, different yokes, different logoing, and a lot of our parts and other things. The idea is this bike needs running now to get that black box, to give it a few hours. But the difference on that straight away, it changed the running of that bike again. If you just started watching, when you change the brain of a motorcyclist, remember when you're building circuit boards from copper boards, you know, and you're putting your own circuit in, and we've got a lot of earth coming out of these, and then you're doing it free revving, and we're trying to get the advance to where I want it to kick in at, and then you assemble it in potting fluid and do the rest of it. As I've said in many videos, it's a little bit trick, but we'll carry on with things as it is. Until the next time, hope you like the video. And just one last thing before you go, little old manifold here off a British Leyland car, look. So what this was, because this had a float assembly and moving parts, look, that's soda. So the idea, if you had a carburettor, a bank of carburetors that you were scared to take to bits, but the bike was running, but the outside looks crap, you couldn't vapor or oxide because it'd go inside, it'll never work again. So what you can do is you can put this coating straight into the soda machine and get that finish, right? And because it's water soluble, you know, all your slider or anything on your main throttle bodies, any springs, all are nice and free. It won't give you 100% bling, but what it'll give you is definitely like a British carburettor, like an Amel carburettor. And then what I've done with these two parts here, these were just a cast, obviously. So what we've done is taken them back, acetoned them, gassed them out, and instead of them giving them back just to go a bit ferrousy and a bit rusty around the edges, I've coated that in the same product as that, 1000 centigrade. So when the customer comes back for it, I've also took the bottom off this and ultrasonics in the 6000 watt ultrasonic machine. So it's got the everything lubed up, a soda effect, but from what it was, and that, you know, that's the kind of thing we get up into here. See you in the next one.